to this episode of Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr., and today I am with a edgy, someone with a powerful voice who loves her whiskey and bourbon, singer and songwriter Taylor Hughes. Taylor, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well as well. So, where are you calling in from tonight?
I live down in the Nashville area. I'm down about 30 minutes south of Nashville. So I'm in my office right now.
Okay.
I locked myself in here all day and I've just been working all kinds of stuff. Had vocal lessons, had guitar lessons, just trying to stay busy.
Oh, so you had a full day already. So I definitely appreciate you taking the time to talk with me. So you're in Nashville, you said you've been there about 4 years, correct? But
Yeah.
you come from Kentucky?
Yes. I'm originally from Lexington, Kentucky. Born and raised, was there for a long, long time, and then moved down here about 4 years ago, and I absolutely love it.
Okay. And before we go a little further, I just wanted to check, did you have anybody that was affected by the tornadoes?
Luckily, not anyone that I know directly. I do have a few friends that lived in the area, but I think they're all in the clear, thank goodness.
That's good.
I had a lot of people reaching out to me because I was actually in Kentucky last week, almost for a week, doing meetings and shows and stuff like that that were checking on me. So very much appreciated. Luckily, they didn't reach Lexington. Got a few bad thunderstorms, but that was all.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that everybody that you know is safe. Yeah, very, very tragic out there with those tornadoes. So our prayers
Yeah.
go to those people that were affected with that. So you've been in Nashville 4 years, living in Kentucky before that. Um, and I mentioned the bourbon thing. So you kind of joked that I guess the bourbon runs through your veins. Is that really accurate?
Well, I guess you could say so. Being a Kentucky girl, um, my dad and really like my whole family are kind of like into bourbon and whatnot, and my husband is very much into it as well. He collects them and drinks them as well. So we have quite the selection here. But we're the kind of bourbon collectors where we don't just keep them in the bottle; like we buy them to enjoy them, which
Okay.
I know you're either one or the other. You either never open it because it's just a collector's item, or you open it to enjoy them, which is what we do. So I do enjoy a glass. I don't drink very much actually, which is kind of funny. I really enjoy bourbon. My husband says I have very expensive taste, but I blame him. But I like to have just a cocktail or two, and then I'm pretty much set and good to go.
Okay, and I also bring that up because I talked to a couple of people at my office where I have a full time job, and one of their sons has a whole room dedicated to bourbon, and so I was curious, what is your favorite bourbon?
Yeah, right now I'm really on this Knob 12 kick. I really love it. It's really hard to find right now. So whenever we find a bottle, we grab it. Their 100 proof's really good, and then the 120 proof is really good too. I used to drink it a lot during my shows, but I've been put in timeout by my vocal coach. She
Oh
says no
no.
drinking while you're singing, Taylor. So I've stepped back from that and I just enjoy it here and there.
And I have seen that whether it's at pictures of at your shows or just promo pictures that you'll have that glass there with you. But as a photographer and videographer, I look at it a little bit different, and I'm just curious who does your photos for you because I like to give props that some of those are really great, and so I'm just curious who does that for you.
Yeah, so my last two photo shoots, the one I did for Praying to the Whiskey and then High on Something, his name is Patrick. I can't ever pronounce his last name right. I think it's Patrick Chavez. He's a local photographer here in town, but he's just absolutely amazing and he's super passionate about his work. And I always tag him in all of my posts when I use the promo pictures and stuff that he's done. So you guys can find him all over Facebook. Very, very talented, very artistic. And he's a lot of fun to work with, especially when we did the Praying to the Whiskey shoot. It was supposed to be about an hour shoot, and it turned into like a 6+ hour
Oh
event.
wow.
We did the shoot at my favorite bar here in Franklin, Obi Joyful. They were kind enough to let us use the bar for the photo shoot, and we had an absolute blast. And no props were wasted; they were all
That's good to
great.
know.
We had my husband stand at the end of the bar, and when we were done, he would just enjoy that.
Well, he's definitely somebody that, I would love to collab with. So is he out of Nashville area as well?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So let's back it up a little bit. You grew up in Kentucky. Tell me about your childhood and at what point did you start to think about going into music?
Yeah, so I've always loved to sing ever since I was itty bitty. When I was in preschool, I was always doing the little shows that we would host, or that the school would host, and I always wanted to be in the very front. I was involved in choir and stuff like that in middle school and in high school, but I never really told anybody it was something that I was serious about, because I was just very involved in athletics. My dad was an athlete, so he kind of instilled that into his kids, and we were very much involved in that kind of thing.
And you were a very great volleyball player from what I gather, right? You were looking scholarship bound.
I was, yeah. I played all year round, travel, school ball. I absolutely loved it. It was another passion of mine, and I did have some schools looking at me, and then God, said, "I don't think so, Taylor," and blew my knee out. So I was never really able to fully recover from that. And at the time, obviously I was like devastated, but it was really just a blessing in disguise because that's what led me to wanting to really pursue music.
Okay. So who were some of your influences growing up? I know your mother had to be one of them because she was a singer as well, correct?
Yes, you've done your homework. Look at you. My mom, before she had me and my brother, she sang professionally with a group. I think it was more maybe I wouldn't say pop, but maybe a little R&B kind of thing. But now that she has kids and stuff, she doesn't sing anymore. And I always try to get her to sing, but she won't do it. So maybe one day.
Little mother-daughter duet.
Yes.
Um, who else influenced you?
Yeah, so I grew up on country music. Obviously, we had music playing in the house all the time. And my dad also had, southern rock and blues and stuff, which is where I get a lot of my influence and stuff from as well. But Miranda Lambert has always been just a huge, huge idol of mine, and I just absolutely love her. But I grew up with Shania Twain and Faith Hill, and started to get into the Carrie Underwood and Miranda Lambert and stuff. But I actually am not a country artist that I always admired and still do till this day is Christina Aguilera. She's just unbelievable. So that power is something that I try to, recreate in my own music and whatnot. But yeah, Miranda Lambert has been a constant for me. But I'd also say, today, Chris Stapleton, Ashley McBride, Susan Tedeschi are all like big influences on me.
And did you ever get to see them when you were younger on stage performing?
I got to see Miranda. I've seen her a million times. I've seen Chris a few times. I've seen Tim McGraw, the classic 90s artist. But I never got to see like Shania Twain or I haven't seen Christina Aguilera, which I would absolutely love to. But plenty of Miranda concerts.
Yeah. And so you grew up and you said that you were, you took every opportunity, whether it was choir or something that like that, to be in front of people and perform. But when did you decide to, hey, I'm going to make the step to Nashville, and what caused you to take that leap?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story how it started. I blew money out, and I went to my parents. I was like, you know what? I think I'd like to learn how to play guitar. And they were like, okay, well, yeah, why not? They knew I sang, but they never really had heard me on my own or anything like that. And my dad took me to my first guitar lesson. And what's funny is that my guitar teacher, who I still work with till this day, he's basically family, Paul Felice. was someone that my dad actually babysat when he was a little kid. So it was almost like meant to be. And
Okay.
I had just a few lessons with him, probably maybe like two or three, and we were, talking about songwriting and just music in general. And he found out I could sing. And I was like, oh, yeah, no one really knows though. And he was like, you're really good. We should take you to Nashville. And I was like, oh, whoa, I don't know about all that. And he was, dead set on it. And he told my parents about this TV Comcast that they used to have down here. I don't think it's on anymore, but it's called Nashville Spotlight. And he came to my parents. He was like, I'd really love to take Taylor down there to go perform for the show. And they were like, what are you talking about? There's no way she knows how to play guitar. And he was like, no, she sings. And they were like, no, no, she doesn't. Like, what are you talking about? No one had ever really truly heard me. And we came down here, and I got on stage. It was the first time I'd ever sang on a stage by myself. It was just to a track because I hadn't learned guitar yet, really, and I got on stage and I sang my songs, and I was unbelievably nervous, but apparently you couldn't tell because everyone absolutely loved it. And afterwards they were coming up to my parents. They were like, "Oh, we love her. Please bring her back." And the whole time my parents are like, "Oh, okay, thank you." And afterwards they were like, "Were you lip singing? Like, was that really you?" They thought it was just a track. And I was like, "Nope, that's me." So that's kind of how I really got started. Was I started coming down here every few months whenever they'd have a show. And I started hosting some of them myself as like a co-host. And it's really where I got the itch to like be on stage and to do my thing. And I've just been singing ever since.
Okay. And I think at one point, did you have some kind of health issue that also kind of changed the way you sing?
Yeah. So it was just, I had got bronchitis when I was about 20 years old, I think. And before I'd gotten bronchitis, people get bronchitis all the time. But I had a very serious, I don't know why. My immune system is terrible, I guess. But I got it. And once I healed, my voice had dropped completely. I used to be like, I was always soprano one in choir. That was, what I was singing. The range I was in when I came down to Nashville the first few years. And after having bronchitis, my voice had like completely dropped and was this more raspy alto. And I can't say I'm upset about it because it's definitely like it's my signature sound. It's what makes me unique. And it's just another one of those things where God's like, let's throw a little twist in there for you.
And I'm not upset about it either. I definitely like that, that like I said it earlier in the podcast, it's a powerful voice. It's kind of edgy and it makes you who you are, and definitely
Yeah.
like that. So fast forward, and you come out. I guess it was around April of 2020 when you had your first single, "Good Taste." Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I had already planned on releasing music that year, and then the pandemic hit. But the kind of person I am, I was like, well, I'm not going to let this stop me from releasing music. Like, I have a plan, I'm sticking to it. So I had this whole like mini tour planned out, and obviously it all got canceled. So I had to, figure out how I was going to promote this song from, inside my house. And I reached out to different radio stations and blogs and podcasts, and I did a ton of live streams, which I had never done before. I didn't like the idea of doing them. And then I was like, well, I guess I'm kind of have to learn how to do it. And it's surprisingly enough, I was able to grow my fan base. I'm over in the UK and Ireland and Australia, and then obviously growing it here in the States. So it was actually kind of a little bit of a blessing, I was able to write more and really dive into that artistry. And try to, figure out the behind the scenes stuff rather than just the stage performance side of it. But Good Taste in particular was a song that I felt was a good way to introduce who I am as an artist to the world. I wrote it with Stephanie Joyce, who is also the co-writer of my current single, High on Something. And her and I had written a ton of stuff together in the past, and she's one of the first people I met when I moved down here. And I always love the stuff that her and I create together. And it's a sassy kind of a little bit of a honky tonk song that just pays tribute to like the outlaws of country, like Johnny Cash and Waylon and Earl, and the old classics that I truly love as well. And yeah, it's a fun one. I thought it was a good way to just be like, hey, this is me. I hope you like it, kind of thing.
All right, and I think that's a good way to start performance today here on Hank's Corners. Would you mind singing that for us?
I like 'em down home. I like 'em mellow. The kind I don't take back to mama. I like 'em rough around the edges, whiskey soaked. That good midnight tenor that suits my soul. Good stomping, good time. I know it don't last, but I fall for the kind of guy makes me raise my glass. Play my heartache in the morning on the wailing in the Jones. Blame the way they leave me hanging on that Copperhead Road. I'm a good-hearted woman, loves a good time, and God blame the way I forgive them all that walk the line. It's a broken record, played again and again. I play my good taste in music for my bad taste in men. I like the way that they make it laid back. Little smoke, a little drink, never hurt, yeah. Call me an addict, it ain't a habit. When it gets stuck in my head, I gotta have it. I play my heartache in the morning on the wailing in the Jones. Blame the way they leave me hanging on that Copperhead Road. I'm a good-hearted woman, loves a good time, and God blame the way I forgive them all that walk the line. It's a broken record, played again and again. I play my good taste in music for my bad taste in men. Ooh. Hey! Well, Hank and Haggard make them hard to resist. They lead the bad decisions. I ain't ready to quit. I ain't ready to quit. Blame my heartache in the morning on the wailing in the Jones. Blame the way they leave me hanging on that Copperhead Road. I'm a good-hearted woman, loves a good time, and God blame the way I forgive them all that walk the line. It's a broken record, played again and again. I'll play my good taste in music for my bad taste in bed. Bad taste in bed. Play my good taste in music for my bad taste in bed.
Sassy indeed. You heard Taylor Hughes singing her song "Good Taste," which kind of was her first single and broke her out. And you heard it here on Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. So one of the reasons I did want to bring you on, besides I enjoy the music, is I caught an article that you wrote about mental health,
Yeah.
and mental health is something that's very near to me. Words like depression, words like suicidal thoughts, and stuff like that. Physical pain that leads to some of that stuff hits pretty close to home. And so when I saw that you wrote that, I was happy about that. A lot of people still stigmatize these types of words. And What made you write that article about mental health?
Yeah, so I was or I'm kind of in a group on Instagram where we help each other out with different businesses. Like some of us are in the magazine industry, some of us are artists, some of us are, makeup artists or hairstylists. And whenever someone is, has a gig or has a opening and they need like a model or something, we reach out and, Sophia Lee, who is the magazine, Sophia Leah magazine, she had an opening in her magazine, which is all about mental health. She was looking for some artists to do a piece in it. And she, reached out to the group, and I was like, you know what? Why not? And for me, that's a very unusual thing. I'm not typically someone that's very open with my emotions and my feelings and stuff like that. I'm usually pretty closed off. I always joke around that if you want to know how I'm feeling, you should probably just go listen to my music. I've always just had a way easier time communicating my emotions through my music rather than just talking with someone. And I decided to, take the challenge and be vulnerable. And really, at first, it was kind of, just a way to, challenge myself and be more open. And it turned out to be really helpful with other people. I had a lot of people reach out to me just thanking me for writing the article. And I honestly didn't even think anyone was going to read my piece because I've never, done anything like that. So I was a little worried. I was like, this probably doesn't even sound right. I was super hard on myself, and it was very therapeutic for me to write it as well. Because when I first sat down to do it, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm going to say. Like, where do I start? But as soon as I started, typing it out, the words just kind of flowed really easily. And it allowed me to really take a step back and, look at, my own mental health and, how I manage it and maybe how I could be better at it, or the things that I do to help me just stay sane in the music industry, and hope that, maybe one of my little tricks or tips would help at least somebody. And come to find out, it a lot of people felt the same way I did, or go through very similar things, and they were really thankful for me to, share that side of me that I've never done before.
Yeah, it's great that you were able to, like you said, challenge yourself to be vulnerable. I mean, yeah, music is a great outlet, but it's not always the full look at it, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, and I think the mental health issues that you kind of mentioned on the anxiety and stuff has a lot to do with you're such a hard worker, you're kind of a perfectionist, and you like your hands on everything, correct?
Yeah.
But those which are all good traits, but you have to manage that. So, how do you manage, holding on to, like, I want control of things, but at the same time to where it's not affecting your mental health?
Yeah, so I won't lie, I still struggle with it sometimes. I'm very much, if I want it done right, I'm gonna do it myself kind of thing. I was raised just to, never take handouts and to work my butt off. So that's kind of just what I've always instilled in myself, as well as, if I want something, I got to work hard and I got to give it my all, because no one else is going to want it more than I am, for myself, and these days I'm still working on it, like I said, but I've surrounded myself with people that I trust, and that I know their best interest is to help me succeed. So I slowly but surely have, let other people, help me in departments like, I do my own bookings and for shows and stuff. But my dad has been a absolute huge help with me doing that. And, at first it was like, oh no, I'll do it. I don't need any help. And then I was like, I was getting overwhelmed with all the stuff that you have to do as an independent artist. And so my dad has been a huge help to me, and not just only the booking side of it, but he works as my manager. He is my co-writer. Um, he's kind of just like my saving grace, I guess.
And I was
But
gonna say that, that it looks like you do have a strong family relationship,
yeah,
with your father, your mother, your brother, which is great because sometimes people don't always have that.
yeah.
How much do they really support you, and how thankful are you because of that?
I am unbelievably thankful. I always tell my parents, once I hit it big, I will buy you that car that you want, or I'll buy you that house. And I honestly, I couldn't do this without my family support. My mom is my biggest cheerleader, and my brother's always, bragging about me to his friends and stuff. And when he comes out to my shows, he's the loudest one.
Is that a good thing?
Most of the time it is. Sometimes it's questionable. But my dad and my mom have sacrificed a lot to help me get to where I am. And there, honestly, I couldn't even imagine, like, I'd have to buy them the world just to thank them for what they do. And being in the music industry, not a lot of people have that family support. So I'm very, very lucky and very blessed to have it.
That's good that you have that. So moving along, we fast forward to your second song, "Praying to the Whiskey,"
Yes.
which your dad did help co-write. Is that correct?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
So tell me about that, how it was to work with him, because I've heard that different things about when you co-write. One, you got to be able to gel with somebody.
Yeah.
And was that easy with your dad when you wrote it? How did that process go?
Yeah, so before him and I wrote that song, we'd actually written several other things together. My dad's never been in the music industry or ever wanted anything to do with it until I got involved with it. And but my dad's always been very good with words and almost, I don't want to say poetry, but just storytelling and lyrically. So when we started writing, it just we clicked instantly. My dad and I are unbelievably close. I would dare to say he's one of my best friends. We get each other. We do butt heads because we are very much alike. But when we get in the writing room, something just works really well. He's great with lyrics, and I take on the melody side of it. And when we wrote this song, him and I, it was just another day that we were like, hey, let's sit down and write together. And I think it was probably during football season, which is something that him and I share a love for. And we were talking about UK football and tailgating and all the trouble we used to get into back in the days and stuff. And
I'll have to ask you about that on the next episode.
yeah, more to come. And like I said, bourbon and whiskey are a big thing in Kentucky, and especially amongst my family. And we thought it'd be kind of cool to, write a song that kind of talks about dealing with making the right and wrong decisions. And I'm Catholic, and I mentioned that in the beginning of the song. And it's almost like you got the devil on one side and the angel on the other. Which one are you listening to tonight? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think we all kind of go through that anyways. But for me, it was, my little, I guess, vice for this song was whiskey. So that's him and I were just, he was saying lyrics and stuff, and I was just kind of singing a melody along with it, and then the words just started to flow and flow. And next thing you knew, we had a song. And I actually wrote it. It's one of the first songs that we wrote when I moved down to Nashville. So a lot of people in my circle and just around town, they kind of knew that as my signature song and kept asking me when I was going to release it. And when we went into the studio, I was very adamant about it being just perfect. I was like, this is what everyone knows me for. Like, it's got to be right. So we went back to the studio a million times to get this one guitar lick down that you hear. It's throughout the song, but like it's really like noticeable in the beginning and in the end. And once we finally got it right, I was like, all right, now it's ready. Now we can release it to the world.
All right. And would you be willing to play that here on Hank's Corner today?
Absolutely. So all of my music, I'm sure for those of y'all who are on Spotify and Pandora and iTunes, stuff like that, you guys can find all my stuff literally everywhere. So I hope y'all will check it out. Jim, Jack, Johnny, and Crow, those four apostles, jade in my soul. That's pretty rough company for a Catholic girl like me to keep. But they're alright by me. My mama would faint if she knew these things. A better daughter, you see. But what can I say? God made me this way. Y'all better pray for me. One bread and the rosary, it just ain't enough for me. Baptize me in the brown water, over ice don't get no water. Devil's cut, that ain't my father. I won't quit till I hit the bottom. Sunday morning I'll be on my knees, but tonight you can find me praying to the whiskey. See the man behind the bar, well, he's my preacher. Till he yells, let's call, I'm a sinner. But I don't mean no harm. I'll be confessing till the liquor's all gone. One bread and the rosary, it just ain't enough for me. Baptize me in the brown water, over ice don't get no water. Devil's cut, that ain't my father. I won't quit till I hit the bottom. Sunday morning I'll be on my knees. Tonight you can find me praying to the whiskey. Yeah, yeah. Jim, Jack, Johnny, and Crow, Mother Mary, save my soul. I'm bread in the rosary, it just ain't enough for me. Baptize me in the brown water, over ice don't get no water. Devil's cut, that ain't my father. I won't quit till I hit the bottom. Sunday morning I'll be on that. Sunday morning I'll be on my knees, praying to the whiskey. Yeah, yeah. Praying to the whiskey. Yeah, yeah.
And you just heard Taylor Hughes praying to the whiskey here on Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. So 2021's coming to an end. 2022 is right around the corner. Uh, Tell me about 2021. Did you achieve what you wanted to achieve? It was a busy year for you. I know you got a new home and a lot of stuff with the music and all that. So tell me, how you did in 2021, and what are some of your goals and future maybe resolutions for 2022?
Yeah. So like you said, this year was very crazy, very busy. A big move, on the road constantly. I was probably On the road every weekend for at least more than 2/3 of the year, which is a complete blessing, especially with what we just dealt with last year. And I'd say I met some of my goals. My goal this year was to release more music, which I did. I ended up squeezing in a second one here at the end, which I was super excited about. I did a lot more touring, got to, write a lot more as well. And I've, met even more people, and I had even bigger opportunities presented to me that I had no plans for. And God blessed me with those. And they've opened doors for even more opportunities that are going to be happening next year that I'm super excited about. Releasing more music. Got some big tours down in Florida and Texas and Rhode Island that are being scheduled right now for next year. And I'm working on another project. I am hoping to be able to put out a full length album next year, which I know it's going to be kind of crazy. It's going to be a lot of work. But I want to give my fans what they've been asking for. And I keep getting that question, Taylor, when are we getting the full album? So
Coming
luckily
soon.
ready to go, right? So yeah, it's been a great year. I cannot complain. I've been absolutely blessed to not only, be back on the road playing, but I've been able to share the stage with good friends of mine. And I'm just really excited for what's to come next year.
And you mentioned coming down to Texas and Florida. So I know Brandon from the Backstage Pass is definitely looking forward to seeing you over there. But I would definitely love to see you when you come down to Florida. So do you know where you're going to be performing when you come down?
Yeah, so the tour is going to start, I believe, on March 6th. I'm playing for the Crazy Women Country Music Festival, which is going to be March 5th and 6th. I'm playing on the 6th. I believe it's down in, what is it, Punta Gorda? Is that how you say it?
Hmm.
So we'll be down in that area, Siesta Keys, some of Fort Lauderdale. We're kind of jumping around a little bit, which I'm super excited about. It's kind of like a vacation, you
And
know?
March is a good time of year to come down.
Yeah,
It's not too hot yet, so I think
mhm,
you'll enjoy it when you come down. So
absolutely.
definitely look forward to that. I hope I can make it out there. And of course, if you need any free photography or video while you're here, just hit me up and let me know.
Absolutely.
So before we get to 2022, though, we still have a little bit left of the Christmas season. Are you ready for the Christmas season? Or are you one of those last minute rush around, get everything done?
Um, well, decorating wise, I'm done. We started before Thanksgiving, which is unusual. We usually wait till after Thanksgiving, but my husband was adamant that we make it super festive, for Thanksgiving and whatnot when our families came down here. So the inside of my house is super festive. We always say that we're not going to do gifts, but I'm going to have to do some last minute gift shopping. I do have some ready.
We won't tell anybody.
Yeah, right. Don't tell anyone I'm not prepared. But I have been on the road a lot, so I'm just kind of trying to get last minute things together. But I love the holiday season. It's my favorite part of the year. I love being able to just get together with family and friends and see people that I haven't seen for a long time and just kind of catch up. And especially with my brother, he lives up north in Ohio, and him and I don't get to see each other very much. So when the holidays roll around and we get together, it's crazy. The shenanigans begin. But
That's
it's something that I always really look forward to.
And do you have any holiday traditions that you do or started recently?
I'm trying to think. Maybe I guess you could call this a tradition per se. My grandmother's birthday is Christmas Eve,
Mm,
so my dad's side of the family always gets together and we do Christmas and the birthday stuff, which is always so much fun. So I have a really big family, so it's fun to get everyone together and get all those personalities mixed up
okay.
together.
So do
Um,
you do some of the president opening on Christmas Eve then?
We do, from not just like not from our parents and like husband and wife stuff. Like we'll do it from aunts and uncles and cousins and stuff like that. And then Christmas morning, we always cook breakfast and we wear our Christmas PJs and whatnot. But we've we've tried to start our own, traditions. Being somewhat newlyweds, we've been married for a little over 4 years now, and with our new home, we really wanted to have our families here. So our parents always, or for the past few years, our parents have been coming down here to, celebrate the holidays with us. And I have a feeling that the decorating super, super early is now a tradition for us. I'm not going to complain.
That's
Um,
a good tradition. And when you
yeah, I
decorate,
love,
is it with a real tree or is it an artificial tree?
both. I
Okay.
have
Wow.
trees. I have trees in almost every room.
Does that mean presents have to go under each tree?
Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't even think about that. I'm gonna have to tell Drew that I expect a gift or two under each tree.
There
I
you
just
go.
I grew up, or my uncle always had trees in every single room of their home. So when I was little, I was like, I want to have a home like that, when I get older. And this is the first time we've been able to really do it. So we have like one in our bonus room, one in our bedroom, and then one in our living room. And then I've got a little bitty one here in my office on the back table. And I'm just ready to put even more around.
That's
Only one
awesome.
real one though. Only one real.
Okay. And do you have a favorite Christmas movie?
Oh yeah, the Santa Claus.
Oh, okay. That's a different one. I haven't heard that one when I asked that question. We just
Yeah.
watched that actually recently with the kids for I don't know how many times, but
Oh,
we did see that recently. And how about a favorite Christmas Carol traditional song?
ooh, that's a hard one. I'm the weirdo that actually really loves Christmas music. I don't typically like singing it, but I love listening to it. I really love Mary Did You Know and Silent Night. I always really like the slow ballady ones, maybe because they sound a little more sad, and I always love sad songs.
Hmm.
But
And
these are some favorites.
okay, well, I hope you do have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. But before
Yeah,
letting
you
you go,
too.
I would have to say you have to sing your most recent song, "High on Something"
Absolutely.
for us. That just came out in November. How's that song doing for you so far?
It's doing really well. I was nervous releasing it because it is just so different than the first two singles I've released, but it's gotten great reviews, and a lot of people have been telling me that it's their favorite that I've released so far, which is good news, right? You always want people to like the stuff that you release more and more, and it's obviously, or not obviously, but it's really kind of allowed me to show a different side of myself as an artist. It's that, that little vulnerable side of me. It's a love song. I don't know how many love songs I'll release in my career because that's just not typically something I do, but I was really excited about this one. So I hope everyone else is excited about it too. Tune this guitar for y'all. But yeah, so I'll sing this one for you guys. And like I said, you guys can find all my music on all downloading and streaming platforms. So, like a rush of blood to your head, the first hit of nicotine. Like an 88 Chevy burning up a tank of gasoline. Like a quick fix from a fifth, we tip it on back. Tap and buzz that comes and goes, it don't ever last. But with you, I ain't coming down. No crash and burn. Ain't looking for an easy way out. And it ain't a drug, whatever it You got me high on something like the worn in leather on an old pair of boots, like the lazy stretch of a long June afternoon, like a 10-year bottle of bourbon. Takes time, but damn, it's worth it. Slow to build the fire. That's what keeps it burning. 'Cause with you, I ain't coming down. No crash and burn. Ain't looking for an easy way out. And it ain't a truck, it ain't a truck. Whatever it is, it's more than enough. And I don't know much, but I know one thing. You got me high on something. You got me high on something. 'Cause with you, I ain't coming down. No crash and burn. Ain't looking for an easy way out. And it ain't a truck, it ain't a truck. Whatever it is, it's more than enough. And I don't know much. No, I don't know much, but I know one thing. You got me high on something. You got me high on something. You got me high on something.
And that powerful voice there is from none other than the amazing Taylor Hughes. Taylor, thank you so much for coming on Hank's Corner today. I really enjoyed it. And once again, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But one more thing, I know you're talking about you're on all the platforms as far as listening to music and the social medias. But I know your website is currently being worked on. And are you still looking for a fan club name?
I am. I've it's funny that you say that because I was working on the website earlier today, and I was like, man, I still don't have. I've gotten a lot of ideas, and a lot of them have been good, but they're just not quite right. Because my fan base is just a mixing pot, you know. And yes, I'm a whiskey drinker, I'm a bourbon drinker, but I don't know if I don't know. Do I want to call all my fans something after that, or like I'm just trying to find the right thing.
Well, if anybody in the audience has an idea, feel free to comment below. But once again, Taylor, I appreciate you coming on and enjoy your evening.
Thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it. And you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year too.
Oh, thank you very much.